everyone, my name is Shelley Calhoun-Jones and I'm a Principal Technologist at Cohesity. In this video, we'll take a tour of Cohesity Data Protect, how to protect an EC2 instance, and recover an RDS database. Let's get started. Alright, so I've logged into the Cohesity platform, and you'll notice that we're currently sitting at the global view. So I'm going to switch over to Data Protect, which I can do by clicking on this Rubik's Cube up at the top, also known as the Scope Selector. This allows me to select security clusters which are either on-prem or in the cloud. Now in this instance, we're going to go ahead and click on Data Protect, which is going to give us a unified view of our environment. Now the first area we're going to take a look at is the sources section, and what this allows us to do is set up protection for both our virtual and physical workloads. So this could be multi-tiered applications that are using a database, or it could be on-prem applications that you're still hosting. Now in this example, you can see that we have protection for a variety of different sources, including an AWS account. I can also filter based off of source type and region. But if I click on my AWS account source, I can see here in just a moment that we have tabs for both EC2 and RDS. Do note that support for S3 is coming soon. And you'll notice underneath each tab, we have both protected and unprotected resources. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and click on EC2. And we're going to select my server down here. And if I move the mouse all the way over here to the right, you'll see that we have an option to protect, which is going to take me into a new protection window. And what this does is it allows me to confirm the sources that I want to add. So in this example, I'm protecting an EC2 instance running out of North Virginia. And I can also click on this policy option, which will allow me to choose the backup policy that I want to use. Now, we're going to take a closer look at this policy here in just a moment, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and select the gold policy and click on Protect. So, within Cohesity Data Protect, you'll notice that our policies basically give you the ability to determine the how and when in which objects from a source are protected. You can actually create as many policies as you need for your use cases, but in this example, we're looking at a gold policy, which has pre-configured backup and data retention settings, which you can see right here. But I could also choose additional options. Maybe I want to perform a periodic full backup. Maybe I want to specify a quiet or blackout window during the day, or even choose to back up my logs. So I do have the ability to configure additional options here. So if I click on quiet times, I could choose to have a quiet time in between 12 to 2 a.m. Pacific, maybe only on Fridays, or I could also specify additional blackout windows during the week, just to make sure that I'm not interrupting other business operations. So it also does give you the ability to customize. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just click on Save, and we're going to browse over to the activity page because that's going to be one of the things that you'll want to look at once you start performing backups, is get an idea of your backup activity. And so if I click on the activity page, you'll notice that we do have the ability to filter based off of region, based off of the type of task. I could also go and change the date range if I wanted to choose maybe just the past 30 days, or look at activity that's occurred over the last hour. I could also choose the source type. So maybe I want to only look at AWS related activity. I could click on AWS and even select a particular type of resource like Amazon EC2. But let's go ahead and click on one of these entries, because One of the things that you'll notice with Cohesity Data Protect is that it creates an immutable snapshot of your backup data. So this is a gold copy of your backup data that is never exposed or mounted externally. The idea is that we want to provide you an extra layer of protection for your overall security strategy. So in this example, we can see that the backup task succeeded. We can see that the SLA was met. We can see the overall duration and the total amount of data that was backed up. Now, if I want to get even more information, I can click on this Show Backup Task Activity to get a better idea of what happened behind the scenes. And so what the Backup Task Activity window is going to show us is an entire timeline of the backup task being added to the queue, to it retrieving items from the backup process and completing the backup job. But that leads to the question, what if we need to recover a file? And so let's go ahead and take a look at the recovery process within Cohesity Data Protect. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Sources. We're going to go back to our AWS account, and we're going to take a look at a different type of AWS resource. So I'm going to click on the RDS tab, and for this demonstration, let me go ahead and choose tag MySQL1. And if I click on Recover, that's going to take me to a recovery window where we can see more information about the database, including the region that it's running in and the database port that it's using, which you can see right down here. And we can also see some additional recovery options. And these features are actually pretty cool, especially if you're new to working within AWS. You'll notice if you work with the Amazon Relational Database Service that they do give you the option to run your instance within multiple AWS availability zones. So the idea is that you're going to have both a primary and a standby database for high availability. Now, with IAM database authentication, this is a secure method for connecting to an RDS database. It's going to show you who within your organization is authenticated and who has permission to your RDS resources. Public accessibility is an option that most organizations do not use, but if you do need to have your SQL database publicly accessible, you can choose to turn on that feature. But security best practice would be to have your databases reside in a more private part of your environment, like a protected subnet or a private subnet within your VPCs. You'll also notice there's an option to copy tags to snapshots. Tags delineate the type of resources that you have within your environment. So if you have resources that belong to a particular cost center, belong to your dev or staging environments or are mission critical, you can tag those resources. And it also really helps from a security automation perspective because you can actually incorporate tags into your security workflows. With Auto Miner version upgrade, what this allows you to do is have your database automatically get upgraded when a new Miner database engine version is available. And so if you're running an RDS instance on MySQL and a new security enhancement is released, AWS will upgrade the instance for you. And you'll also notice up at the top that we have the ability to recover to the original location or to a new location. So I'm going to select new location for testing purposes. I'm going to configure where I want this new resource to reside in. So in this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and choose US East, North Virginia. I'm going to choose the VPC that I want this RDS instance to live in. So right now I'm choosing a subnet, I'm choosing my security group, and an availability zone. I'm also going to make sure that I give this database instance a name that is easy for me to recognize because as I'm doing this for testing purposes, I'm going to go in and do some housekeeping after this demo. So let me go ahead and just select a couple more options here. These are settings that you configure when you're creating a new instance within RDS, and since we're restoring this to a new instance, I want to make sure that it has the correct database options. And then I'm just going to click on Recover. So that completes the demonstration. We went through a tour of Cohesity Data Protect. We protected an EC2 instance, and we just went through the recovery process of an RDS instance.